What's this education environment? What sort of things are encompassed in that?
Sure. So I think really what we've seen, especially to address some of this deployment gap, we've seen a lot of other institutions beyond just the school get involved here to really address that connectivity gap that's been so critical to learning over the course of the past 17 months. You've seen, schools jump in. You've seen libraries, churches, community centers, providing that kind of connectivity for folks who may not have been able to have that connectivity at home. And then also to assist service providers in deploying that connectivity. So one of the great stories that I heard even just this earlier this year at one of our trade shows was the pastor of a local church who showed up to a wireless internet trade show, and I was talking to him, and he was telling me about how he had utilized the steeple on his church to deploy some wireless gear and be able to provide low-cost connectivity into a community that didn't have it before. To be able to allow these parents to work from home, these students to learn from home. We just, over the course of the pandemic, I think people got a lot more creative about utilizing the resources that they had to be able to address this critical issue to enable students to continue to be able to learn amid all of the challenges that they were facing.
I like that story. That's neat because, the Middle Ages, the church steeples were the tallest building in town. Today, they're oftentimes the tallest building in a certain neighborhood, right? So they can actually, it's a great part of that infrastructure. And that is part of infrastructure because it does require that. So wireless internet service providers, not just an internet service provider, they're using wireless technology to actually bring broadband data to each one of these points you're talking about. You talked about residential. So they're dropping in that broadband data over wireless to a home. They're dropping it to a community center, dropping it to a library, churches, schools. So they're able to use wireless technology to get these links out there, turn them up really quickly. So that's a lot of infrastructure. That's a lot of work. Now, I think that it's going to take, you mentioned a lot about these entrepreneurial WISPs. So it takes they're going to have to, they provide, the brain power, right? So
yeah, absolutely. Brain power and people power to actually get out there and get this done.
It does. And I did talk to a WISPA late last year as well. In 2020, there's similar stories that you've been seeing as well, where they actually partner with schools, put up a tower on top of the school, run their shots out to homes that were served by that elementary school in Illinois, and then able to bring all that data back on a VLAN tied to the school, so that essentially the homes became an extension of the school. Great application. It doesn't work for everybody, but perfect application for him. I also talked to some others down in Texas that were deploying little hotspots on school buses. So these 20 passenger, 40 passenger school buses, not the 40s, but the small ones, the 20 passenger ones, outfitted with a couple of access points, drive up to a hotspot. So creative, they're entrepreneurial, but they're also creative. They're hardworking people.